So what I'm going to do today is talk about lesson 2-4, which is about partial quotients. Now, this is just an introduction to long division. All the fifth graders have learned about long division before, about the does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers method, but we're still going to ease into it, even though this is review, by doing something called partial quotients. And what partial quotients is it's a way of dividing where you just repeatedly subtract from a number and figure out how many times did I subtract my divisor from my dividend. For example, I'll use a very simple example. If I have 6 divided by 2, and I don't know my my division tables, I would just see how many times do I subtract it from 2. 6 minus 2 is 4, 4 minus 2 is 2, 2 minus 2 is 0. So I subtracted it here, I subtracted it here, and I subtracted it here. I count 1, 2, 3, and 3 is my answer. So we're going to do something that's like this, except with much bigger numbers. So let's start out with 151 divided by 13. Okay, we're going to find the answer to this using partial quotients. Now what we could do is we could just say 151 minus 13, 138. I could subtract 13 again. I could subtract 13 again. As you can see, this is going to take a long time. So there is a method of partial quotients that is a little bit more efficient, where you can subtract 13 from 151 10 at a time. Now, why 10? The reason we do it 10 at a time is because it's really easy to calculate 10 times 13. 10 times 13 is 130. You just add a 0 at the end of the 13, and then there you have it, 10 times 13. So now I will, but in order to keep track of how many times I subtracted 13 in this case, I'm going to put a 10 here. That means I subtracted 13 10 times. I just used a little shortcut. Instead of writing it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, I just said, well, I know 130 is 13 times 10. So I'm subtracting 10 13s. So I put a 10 here. And I subtract, I get 21. Then I subtract 13 again. Or actually, I look at this and I say, well, can I subtract another 130? I cannot. This is too small. So what can I subtract? Well, when it gets this small, when it gets below 10 times your divisor, you can pick smaller numbers. If this were a bigger number, I would say, well, maybe 5 times 13, which would be half of this. But this is actually so small that I can only subtract 13 one time. And to show that I only subtracted it one time, I'm going to put this right here. That means I subtracted 13 one time, this time. So that leaves me with 8. Now I cannot subtract 13 from this at all. It's too small. Well, I just found my remainder. That is my remainder. Now let me find my quotient, which is the name for the answer to a division problem. 10 plus 1. I'm just going to add up the number of times I subtracted 13 from 151, and I've been keeping track of it over here. 10 plus 1 is 11, so my answer is 11, remainder 8. This works for any problem, any division problem. So if you ever get stuck on wondering how to begin a division problem, this is one of the methods you can also use. But the main idea is that we're understanding what division is, and so when we do it the traditional way, you'll understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. So I'll do another example. 217 divided by 18. 217 divided by 18. So I'm going to subtract 10 at a time, 10 18s at a time, because I don't want to do 18 minus 18 minus 18 minus 18 minus 18. 18 times 10 is 180, and I'm going to put right here that I subtracted it 10 times. I get 37 as my answer here. Now I can't subtract 180 again, so I'm going to subtract just 18. 18 times 1. And see what I get. Now, here I'm going to write a 1 because I'm just subtracting 18 once. Here I'm subtracting it 10 times. Here I'm subtracting it 1 time. So I get 19. Still bigger than 18, so I'm going to subtract 1 again. And I get a 1. And that's it. That's smaller than 18, so that's my remainder. Now I'm going to add these together. 10 plus 1 is 12. So that's my quotient. My answer to the 217 divided by 18 is 12, remainder 1. There will be this video, along with this video, there will be other videos on my website. You can also email me anytime if you get stuck. And I hope that helps.